Hello everyone, my name is Gajendra Dutt Sharma and you are watching English, and this is the third and the final part of the explanation and solution of NVS PGT examination entrance examination that was held in 2014. As in the previous two parts of this question paper, I have tried to explain all the points related to the questions that were asked in the examination. So this is the concluding part of that question paper. The various points that have been explained in all these three parts will be quite helpful in other NVS or KVS, TGT and PGT examinations. So let us start the video. First question of this concluding part is Delhi, a novel is written by R.K. Narayan, Anita Desai, Amitabh Ghosh or Khushwant Singh. And the correct answer is it was written by Khushwant Singh and it was written in 1919. So Delhi is a historical novel. The book moves backward and forward in time through the history of Delhi. For the background, it has the story of a journalist who has fallen on bad times. The journalist may be Khushwant Singh himself. So in that way, the journalist can be an autobiographical figure of Khushwant Singh, who describes his adventures with a eunuch named Bhagmati. Khushwant Singh claimed that it took him 25 years to complete this novel. The novel is dedicated to his son Rahul Singh and Nilofer Bilimoria. He himself declares that history provided me a skeleton. I covered it with flesh and injected blood and a lot of seminal fluid into it. The first novel of Khushwant Singh was Train to Pakistan, that was published in 1956. And his first story collection is The Mark of Vishnu and Other Stories. This was published in 1950. The name of his autobiography is Truth, Love and a Little Malice, that came in 2002. Most of his works feature in TV talk show Not a Nice Man to Know that came in the year 1998. He wrote his own epitaph and it goes like this: Here lies one who spared neither man nor God. Waste not your tears on him. He was a sod, writing nasty things he regarded as great fun. Then the Lord, he is dead, this son of a gun. Next question. Understanding the Media was written by Marshall McLuhan, Noam Chomsky, Margaret Atwood, or was it Mark Tully? So the correct answer is it was Marshall McLuhan who wrote this book, Understanding the Media. The book has a subtitle, The Extension of Man. The book came in the year 1964. The writer proposes that media, not the content that they carry, should be the focus of study. So it is media that is important rather than the content. And he suggests that medium affects the society in which it plays a role mainly by the characteristics of the medium rather than the content. So media plays a vital role in the construction of the society rather than the content. So main focus should not be on the content but on the medium because it affects the society. The book is considered to be a pioneering study in media theory. So book is very much important for journalism or for the journalist. One who is doing journalism is expected to read this book because this lays the foundation of what media should be and how it should work and what are the constructive roles of media. And the catchphrase that the medium is the message occurs in this book. And it was the same writer who told that there are two types of media, cool media and hot media. Next question, the term magic realism was coined by Salman Rushdie, Franz Roh, Gabriel Garcia Marquez, Thomas Mann. And it was Franz Roh who coined this term magic realism. He was a German. He gave this term in the title of his book Nec Expressionismus Magisker Realismus that came in 1925. So magic realism was used in the title of this book. It was initially used in art and then in literature in 1940s. And the novelist who used magic realism in novels for the first time was George Psycho. And in the decade 1980s, it became a well-known established label for some form of fiction. Colombian novelist Gabriel Garcia Marquez is regarded as the notable exponent of this form. So Salman Rushdie, Marquez, Thomas Mann, they all used magic realism in their fiction. But it was Franz Rowe who coined this term. Marquez used this magic realism in his novel 100 Years of Solitude that came in 1967. Common characteristics of this magic realism are mingling and juxtaposition of the realistic and the fantastic or bizarre, skillful time shifts, convoluted and even labyrinthine narratives and plots, miscellaneous use of dreams, myths, and fairy tales, expressionistic and even surrealistic description, element of surprise or abrupt shock, the horrific and the inexplicable. So, in this kind of fiction, you can see the juxtaposition of realistic and the fantastic or the idealistic. And it is somewhat strange. There is an abrupt shifts in time as well. Narrative is also in a zigzag motion, sometimes this way, other times that way. There is a fullest use of dreams and myths and surrealistic activities. So sometimes the plot goes into the past and sometimes the plot goes in the subconsciousness of the characters. Other times there is a forceful expression of the emotions. So there is an element of shock and surprise and horrific and some events that are not easy to explain. So magic realism includes all these characteristics. Next question. The famous working class novel Mary Barton was written by Charlotte Bronte, Emily Bronte, Elizabeth Gaskell, or George Eliot. And it was Elizabeth Gaskell who wrote this novel, Mary Barton. The subtitle of the novel is A Tale of Manchester Life. This is the first novel of the author. It came in 1848. The setting of the novel is the city of Manchester. The time frame that is dealt with in this novel is 1839 and 1842. And it deals with the difficulties faced by Victorian working class. G.M. Hopkins called this novel a respectable social novel. Initially, the novel was published anonymously. However, in the year, the writer of this novel was widely known throughout the country. So there was a time when writers, particularly female writers, hesitated to give their own name to the works they were published, because somehow it was the patriarchal society and women writers were not given that opportunity or access, or they were not considered to be the writer at all. So some writers who were very much hesitant, or they were afraid that they may not get that popularity they deserve. So sometimes they published their works anonymously, other times they changed their names to the male name, as in the case with George Eliot. Next question. The Mask of Anarchy by Shelley is a pastoral poem about the evils of industrial revolution, a poem about the corruption rampant in Europe, a play about civilizational crisis in Europe, or was it a poem of political protest written in response to Peterloo massacre? And the correct answer is D. Mask of Anarchy was a poem of political protest. You can sense it by the title itself, The Mask of Anarchy. So anarchy is a political term. So when the state is not governed by any king, it is anarchy. And it was particularly response to Peterloo massacre. Peterloo massacre happened in Manchester in 1819, and the poem was published shortly after this event in 1819 itself. So Shelley called for the freedom, and it is perhaps the first modern statement of the principle of non-violence resistance. So through this poem, P.V. Shelley advocated non-violent resistance. It was a protest, but the protest was, the preface of this poem was written by Lew Hunt. The epigraph of this poem is taken from Revolt of Islam 1818, when he says, "Hope is strong, justice and truth their winged child have found." The poem is in 372 lines in the form of 4-line quatrains. Richard Holmes and Paul Foote describe it as the greatest political poem ever written in English. Similarly, Aldous Huxley said about this poem, the method of resistance included by Shelley in The Mask of Anarchy is the method of non-violence. Next question, the name of the heroine of George Eliot's Middlemarch is Dorothea Brooke, Fanny Brooke, Sarah Joseph, or Lucinda? And the correct answer is it was Dorothea Brooke. Middlemarch also has a subtitle The Study of Provincial Life. Mary Ann Evans wrote under the pen name of George Eliot. So the novel is set in fictitious English Midland town, which is famous for silk ribbon manufacturing. The novelist uses realism to encompass historical events. And under the historical events, there is the mention of 1832 Reform Act, early railways, and the accession of King William IV. F.R. Lewis, the great tradition of 1948, is credited with having rediscovered the novel. He says, the necessary part of great intellectual powers in such a success as Middlemarch is obvious. The sheer informedness about society, its mechanisms, the ways in which people of different classes live, a novelist whose genius manifests it in a profound analysis of the individual. And Virginia Woolf also says that the magnificent book that with all its imperfection is one of the few English novels written for the grown-up people. Next question. Bruno's Dream is written by George Eliot, Iris Murdoch, Henry James, or Doris Lessing. And correct answer is it was Iris Murdoch who wrote Bruno's Dream. It was her 12th novel. Came in 1969. Bruno is the name of a dying person. The book was shortlisted for the Booker Prize of 1970. However, the novel of Iris Murdoch, The Sea, was able to won this Booker Prize of 1978. The critic Harold Bloom listed Bruno's Dream in his The Western Canon that was published in 1994. He listed this book as one of the books in his conceptions of artistic works that have been important and influential in Western culture. So the critic Harold Bloom has listed some notable novels or some very important novels of the time which are very much influential in the construction of Western culture, or they reflect truly the Western culture. And among those novels, Bloom lists this Bruno's Dream as well. The critic Ian Wilson described this novel as one of the most distinctive and successful novels of modern Murdoch wrote in the 1960s. Next question. Who of the following wrote these lines? Those rules of old discovered, not devised, are nature still, but nature methodized. Was it Dr. Johnson, John Dryden, Alexander Pope, or Jonathan Swift? And it was Alexander Pope who wrote these lines. These were written in essays on criticism, and it was the part 1 of this essay on criticism in which these lines were written. By those rules, he refers to the literary rules of ancients. So he refers to the classical rules or the classical poetic or literary conventions. As in 18th century, Dr. Johnson or Alexander Pope, they favored classical conventions, classical rules, and then they tried to imitate those rules. That's why their age is also called neoclassical age. The poem was published in 1711. There are also some other important and famous lines from this poem. To err is human, to forgive divine. A little learning is a dangerous thing. This has become an idiom as well. But the important thing to be kept in mind is it is a little learning, not knowledge that is generally attributed to. Commonly we commit a mistake that a little knowledge is a dangerous thing. But the original line has learning rather than knowledge. Fools rush in where angels fear to tread. The poem is composed in heroic couplet, which was a chief medium for Alexander Pope, and it was written in Horatian mode of satire. Horatian mode of satire or Horatian satire is named after Roman satirist Horace, who playfully criticizes some social vices, through gentle, mild, and light-hearted humor. He ridicules gently to dominant opinions and philosophical beliefs of ancient Rome and Greece. So, Horatian satire is always mild in nature. It does not use invective or harsh criticism of the society in order to reform it. Rather, the tone is quite humorous and mild in nature. So, we can say that he uses sympathetic tone. In the same way, Alexander Pope reforms or tries to reform the society by using mild satire in the vein of Horace. Goal of Pope is to heal the situation with smiles rather than by anger. So he does not want to provoke anger on the part of the audience. Rather, he wants to induce smiles on the faces of the audience. The poem also concerns with how writers and critics should behave in a new literary age. Next question. The Nigger of Narcissus is written by Chinua Achebe, Ben Okri, Alan Paton, or Joseph Conrad, and it was written by Joseph Conrad. The subtitle of the novel is A Tale of Forecastle. Nigger of Narcissus, A Tale of Forecastle. It has yet another subtitle, A Tale of the Sea. It was published in USA by the title The Children of the Sea. Because the title Nigger of Narcissus could be controversial at the time when black and white rivalry or contest or dispute was going on. So it could lead or it could provoke the racial remarks or racial dispute. Nigar is a derogatory term for the black man. The preface of the novel is regarded to be the manifesto of literary impressionism. Next question. The Hairy Ape is written by Eugene O'Neill, Arthur Miller, Samuel Beckett, or Harold Pinter. The correct answer is it was written by Eugene O'Neill, American dramatist Eugene O'Neill. It is regarded as an expressionist play, and he wanted to present the world solely from a subjective perspective, distorting it radically for emotional effect in order to evoke moods or ideas. So it is mainly known for the existential crisis in Bob Smith. Eugene O'Neill got the Pulitzer Prize for 4 times. Similarly, Robert Frost also got Pulitzer Prize for 4 times. So these two writers, Robert Frost and Eugene O'Neill, they received the Pulitzer Prize 4 times. Next question. The Caretaker was written by Eugene Ionesco, Harold Pinter, Samuel Beckett, or Franz Kafka. And the correct answer is it was Harold Pinter who wrote the play The Caretaker. It is a comedy of menace for which Harold Pinter is chiefly known. The play is in 3 acts. According to Martin Esslin, the play suggests aspects of theatre of the absurd. The play is regarded as tragicomedy. The writer John Arden says about this drama, taken purely at its face value, this play is a study of the unexpected strength of family lies against an intruder. Main characters of the play are Mick, Aston, and Davies. Next question. A Journal of the Plague Year is a historical fiction by Daniel Defoe. Is it about the outbreak of the epidemic of England during 1640, 1664, and 1665? Or was it about the outbreak of the epidemic in London and Leeds? Or it was about the outbreak of the epidemic in London? Or was it about the outbreak of the epidemic in Manchester? And the correct answer is it was about the outbreak of the epidemic in London. A Journal of the Plague Year is also a satirical novel by Norman Spinrad that was published in 1995. The novel is about men's experience of the year 1665. In this year, bubonic plague struck the city of London. The account is also given in Samuel Pepys' diary as well, and this was also known as the Great Plague of London. And it was the last epidemic that happened in the city of London, and it lasted from 1665 to 1666. So it was the last epidemic in London. Next question. The Playboy of the Western World is written by Bernard Shaw, Samuel Beckett, James Synge, or Eugene Ionesco. And the correct answer is it was written by James Synge. It is a 3-act play and it was first performed at Abbey Theatre. It is basically known for the use of poetic evocative language of Hiberno English. Language of Hiberno English. Hiberno English is inspired or influenced by Irish English. It is also known as Irish English. So, Irish English is basically spoken in the dialects of island of Ireland. So, it is also known as Hiberno English or Irish English. So, in that dialect, this play was basically written. Otherwise, many of the Irish theatre or Irish plays are written in normal commonplace English. But this play particularly used this dialect, Irish dialect. The play was a controversial as well because it caused 1907 riots in Ireland. The riots happened or occurred owing to the immoral elements being dealt in this play. It was claimed that the play showcased some immoral or morally degraded items or elements which caused an uproar in the people. The title of the play comes from the speech of the character Pegeen Mike when he says, "Oh my grief, I have lost him surely. I have lost the only playboy of the Western world." Next question. Which of the following novels by Jane Austen was entitled First Impressions? So, was it Emma, Sense and Sensibility, Northanger Abbey, or Pride and Prejudice? And it was Pride and Prejudice which was first known as First Impression. It was first titled as First Impression. This novel is regarded as the romantic novel of manners, published in 1813, and basically it follows the character development of the heroine Elizabeth Bennet. The title of the novel is probably taken from Fanny Burney's Cecilia, that was published in 1782. The passage runs like, "The whole of this unfortunate business, said Dr. Lister, has been the result of pride and prejudices. If to pride and prejudice you owe your mistakes, miseries, if to pride and prejudice you owe your miseries, so wrongfully is good and evil balanced, that to pride and prejudice will also owe their termination." So, pride and prejudice in this passage has been repeated twice or thrice in the bold letters. So, perhaps Jane Austen picked this title from this passage from the novel Cecilia of Fanny Burney. Walter Scott said about this novel, "Read again and for the third time at least, Miss Austen's very finely written novel of Pride and Prejudice." Next question. The Professor is written by Charlotte Bronte, Thomas Hardy, Anthony Trollope, or George Eliot. And the correct answer is the novel was written by Charlotte Bronte. The Professor has a subtitle, A Tale. Professor, A Tale. It is the first novel of Charlotte Bronte. The name of the character who is a professor in this novel, the professor, is William Crimsworth. So William Crimsworth is the professor of this novel, The Professor, and it is first person narrative from his perspective. The novel is based on the experience of Charlotte Bronte, Brussels. Charlotte Bronte studied at Brussels as language student, and she was also a teacher in 1842. So the plot is based on her own experiences which she had at Brussels, both as a student or as a teacher. Two more novels are of the same title, The Professor. One is by Robert Bailey and the other is by Rex Warner. So three novels have been published of the same title, The Professor. One by Charlotte Bronte, second by Robert Bailey, and the third is by Rex Warner. Next question. The Rainbow by D.H. Lawrence narrates the history of the Watson family, the Ford family, the Brangwen family, or it narrates the history of the place called Egan Heath. Correct answer is it is about the Brangwen family. The novel was published in 1915 and it narrates the three generation of Brangwen family. They live in Nottinghamshire and the novelist focuses on their struggle for growth and fulfillment within conflicting structures of English social life. The sequel of this novel is Women in Love. The important thing about this novel is that it was prosecuted in an obscenity at Bow Street Magistrates Court, and as a result 1011 copies seized and burnt. The next question, The Rights of Man is a famous political treatise was written by William Empson, S.T. Coleridge, Thomas Paine or Mary Wollstonecraft, And the correct answer is it was written by Thomas Paine. It was published in 1791 and it included 31 articles. These articles assert that popular political revolution is permissible when a government does not safeguard the natural rights of its people. On these points, it defends French Revolution against Edmund Burke's. So in that sense, it defends French Revolution, and this was against Edmund Burke's attack in reflection on the revolution in France. The book was published in two parts. The book caused a furor and uproar in England, and Thomas Paine was convicted of sedition against the crown. Next question. As an intertext of Shakespeare, Hamlet, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead is written by James Hinch, Harold Pinter, Eugene Ionesco, Tom Stoppard. And the correct answer is it was Tom Stoppard who wrote the satirical work Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead, based on Hamlet. So it is an absurdist existential tragicomedy and it is in three acts. Next question. Who of the following did invent the term sprung rhythm? Was it G.M. Hopkins, Robert Burns, P.B. Shelley, or Alfred Lord Tennyson? And the correct answer is it was G.M. Hopkins who invented this term sprung rhythm. So sprung rhythm is a kind of poetic meter which approximates to speech, natural speech. In this meter, each foot having one stressed followed by a varying number of unstressed syllables. So there can be many feet in this meter. So each foot can be followed by a varying number. Means one foot can be followed by 2 or 3 feet of unstressed syllable. One stressed and other unstressed. Sometimes one, sometimes two, sometimes three, sometimes four. So it can have a varying number of unstressed syllables. G.M. Hopkins tried or designed this meter to imitate the rhythm of natural speech. Next question. Tamburlaine the Great, a drama in blank verse was written by Thomas Lodge, Christopher Marlowe, John Webster, or John Fletcher. And it was Christopher Marlowe, the university wit, who composed or who wrote this Tamburlaine the Great. It is written in blank verse. The play is in two parts. It is based on the life of the Central Asian Emperor Temur. Ben Jonson condemned this drama as the Tamerlanes and Tamerchims of the late age which had nothing in them but the cynical strutting and furious vociferation to warrant them to the ignorant gapers. Next question. Who of the following wrote Devil in the Cross in his language Gikyu? Was it Chinua Achebe, Ben Okri, Ngugi wa Thiong'e, or Buchi Imecheta? And the correct answer is it was Ngugi wa Thiong'e who used this language Gikyu. Gikyu language was the language of Bantu family that was spoken primarily by Kikuyu people of Kenya. The novel was written and self-translated by Thiong'e. It was written and self-translated into English by Thiong'e himself. And it was later published as African Writers series in 1982. The novel focuses on politics and role of international money and culture in Kenya. Next question. Through the Looking Glass is written by T.S. Eliot, William Butler Yeats, Edward Lear, or Lewis Carroll. And the correct answer is it was written by Lewis Carroll. The complete title of this novel is What Alice Found There, Looking Through the Looking Glass, or it was simply known as Through the Looking Glass. It came in the year 1871 and it was sequel to Alice Adventure in Wonderland. The novel also includes the verse, special verse for which Lewis Carroll was chiefly known, that was Jabberwocky. Jabberwocky is also known as nonsense poem. Next question. The line still sad music of humanity occurs in P.B. Shelley's Ode to the West Wind, Wordsworth's Michael, Wordsworth's Tintin Abbey, or Wordsworth's Education of Nature. And the correct answer is it occurred in Tintin Abbey. The complete title is Lines composed a few miles above Tintin Abbey on revisiting the river of Wye. It is the first poem of lyrical ballad. It comes in the category of ode and dramatic monologue, though it is not confirmed whether it is an ode and dramatic monologue. But it certainly comes in the category of topographical poetry. Topographical poetry or loco-descriptive poem genre. Loco-descriptive or topographical poetry describes or praises landscapes or place. So it is about some place or some landscape. So there are abundant examples of landscape or the praise of place in Tintin Abbey. Wordsworth eulogizes the place he visited. It is written in blank verse. Next question. Sir Toby Belch and Sir Andrew Ogiechek are famous characters that occurred in Shakespeare's As You Like It, Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream, Shakespeare's Measure for Measure, or Shakespeare's Twelfth Night. The characters are very famous and they occurred in Twelfth Night. So the answer is D. Twelfth Night is also known as What You Will. The subtitle is What You Will. It was published in 1601 or 1602 and it was written as an entertainment for the close of the Christmas season, and it was first published in the first folio of 1623. In Christian culture, Twelfth Night is called the eve of the feast of Epiphany. And the last question of this question paper is the two cultures is coined by C.P. Snow, T.S. Eliot, Raymond Williams, or Frederick Jameson. And the correct answer is it was coined by C.P. Snow. So it is the first part of influential 1959 Reed Lectures by British scientist and novelist by C.P. Snow. Snow was a scientist and a novelist. It was later published as a book form as Two Cultures. The Two Cultures. So the Two Cultures is a name of the book. First it was the part of lecture series, The Two Cultures and the Scientific Revolution. So it was the name of the book, Two Cultures and the Scientific Revolution. And the Two Cultures was the first part of this book. Initially it was a lecture. So that is all for now. Hopefully this concluding video along with the other previous two parts will be helpful for your comprehension of the question paper that was held in 2014. This will be helpful for you to assess what kind of questions that are asked in KVS and NVS examinations. So stay tuned for more of such videos. Till then, keep learning, stay motivated, and do like this video and share it among your friends. And if you have not subscribed to this channel so far, don't forget to subscribe it right now. Thanks for watching.